I have a little Warframe rant for today. You know those T channels where they're like touching things with their nails? You're like, okay guys, I have a rant today. Whatever those are, that's what I'm doing here today. Not to hate on them, by the way. It's just not my cup of tea, but I'm copying off them for this video. The rant I have today isn't that important, but it's about Warframe, and I kind of got the idea in my head to talk about this while I was watching some Mass Effect cutscenes the other day. You know, just the greatest story game, the greatest story trilogy of gaming to ever exist, in my personal opinion. And I remember the importance of the Starship battles. Spoiler alert, if you haven't played a 10-year-old game yet. When the capital ship of the Council shot the Reaper Sovereign before it reached the Citadel. That was the specific scene I was watching. And I was like, wow, that's so impactful. That's maybe the most impactful scene in the entire first game, and definitely the most important one. And it's like, your main character, Shepard, wasn't even involved in it. And that brings me to my rant today. And it's about Starship battles in Warframe, or more importantly, the lack of them. It's just so weird to me that we have this space game in Warframe, and we have never seen the Grineer or the Corpus throw down with each other in a giant awesome space battle with a Corpus capital ship and a Grineer frigate just blasting the balls off each other, just going ham. Then a bunch of like TIE fighter jets, except the Warframe version, whatever that would be, flying at each other, shooting each other in space. And while that's going on, we're flying into the action and we're helping one of them or destroying both of them or boarding the ship or something. And then like while we're boarding the ship and fighting aboard the Corpus ship, there's like explosions and shit happening because Grineer frigate is shooting it and all this crazy shit is going on. We really don't get that in Warframe. The closest we ever gotten, well, we have gotten Starship battles with Narmer. When Narmer, Viso, the Corpus ship fought it, we came in with the Railjack. We got to see some Starship battles. The point I'm getting at is that was one singular event in the new war that we've ever really seen a true Starship battle, but by a faction that really isn't that important anymore as compared to the mainstay factions who have been in the game for damn near 12, 13 years now, whenever the game first released, which are the Grineer and Corpus, and who have, I think been at war this whole time. We don't see them fight very often for them being at war, to be completely honest with you. And I understand that we're the 10-0. We're not going to be involved in all these Starship battles. I mean, we have a fucking Railjack, but don't get me started on Railjack missions. I think they're fun personally, but they are not fun because they're fun Starship battles. They are fucking terrible ship battles. They're not entertaining when it comes to the ship part. Because first off, for some reason, the Corpus and Grineer have no like fighter jets or space fire jets, whatever you call them. They have no like quick starships that are meant for fighting. Like, where the hell are those at? They either have those slow ships, you have to destroy like 4 of them for a Railjack mission. You guys know what I'm talking about. And they're called like Grineer cruise ships or something. Or the Corpus have their own version of it. And it's like, those ships are super slow. They're kind of like weak for how big they are. And it's like, why isn't there any like fighter jets, like a TIE fighter jet for like Warframe though? Like, why wouldn't they have those? That seems so weird to me. You're in space, but you don't have any fast, quick-moving space starships that would be like stuck in a dogfight. Like, why don't we ever see that? Another thing we barely see, or maybe have never seen, is like orbital bombardments. Because, like, guys, let's be right honest real quick. Ground infantry warfare and naval warfare is only ever so important. In the real world, the Air Force is by far the most important branch of any military and by far the most powerful. So, in like this alternate future of Warframe, that would be the Space Navy or the Space Air Force, whatever you want to call it, the Space Force. They're by far the most important force of any faction, and the faction with the strongest Space Navy would just be the strongest faction. And it's just so strange to me that we don't see any of the factions ever really flexing their Space Navy. And this could be an interesting angle to take, because it's like the Grineer have way more numbers than the Corpus. They're better united, but maybe they haven't been able to encroach that much on Corpus territory because the Corpus Space Navy is just that much stronger, even if it is fractured. Now, I'm not saying that's true because obviously the Fomorians are strongest than anything the Corpus have ever created, but I'm saying that could be an explanation or a reason. But it's like we never get to see that side of it or understand like the Navy's comparisons to each other or how strong they are to one another. And it's really interesting because you actually do see that with most space properties. I'll give you 3 examples right now. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier. We know Mass Effect. We had a very good understanding of the power of the Reaper Space Navy and the power of the Alliance Space Navy between all the different races. We understood how strong each one was. Even though us personally weren't going to be in a starship fighting, we still understood how strong the navies were. In Star Wars, I don't care if it's a game, I don't care if it's the movies. You understand how strong the navies are compared to one another. Whether it's the Separatist, or the Republic, or the Sith versus the Jedi and like the Old Republic, it doesn't matter. You understand the Navy's relative strengths and how they benefit their respective empires. In Halo, you know that the Covenant Navy far outclasses the human Navy, and it's a huge part of why it's such a dangerous situation and why you have to do certain things. But when you play Warframe, you have no understanding of the Space Navy of any of the factions you're fighting. The only thing you ever know is that Narmir is better when they do come in, and other than that, that's about it. I want to make this very clear right now. I'm not saying Warframe's like bad because of this or anything like that. I love Warframe, one of my favorite games of all time, and it doesn't need to talk about the Space Navy or starships or anything like that to be awesome and cool and amazing and super fun to play. I'm just saying it's really kind of interesting, and you know, I would like to see it, that we don't really get to see much about the starships. There's not a huge variety of starships, and there's not like a fighter jet type starship. There's so many things I feel like that are missing from a typical space game when it comes to like starship combat. And you really do see that, like I said earlier, when you play the Railjack missions. There's not really a like enemy ships that make sense to fight. Like, oh, we have these slow ass cruise ships, and we also have these small tiny drones. You know, and obviously drones, that does make sense to me, because it would make sense that there would be drones in future combat. I think it's actually something that's missed, actually something Warframe does well, because you really don't see space drones from Halo or Star Wars that often, when that makes complete sense. In the future, almost everything's going to be a drone when you fight. We're already seeing a lot of it today in today's day and age. So it would make sense for there to be drones involved in the Space Navy. Obviously, you see drones in the Reaper invasion with the Reapers because, you know, they're fucking AI guys, in case you didn't know that. So like, you know, they're all drones, I guess. But that's not the point. The point is that, you know, that's pretty cool, we have drones, but it's like, where are the fighter jets at, bro? I want to see some damn fighter jets. I want to have like some awesome space combat, or get to watch awesome space combat. I want to invade or attack a ship while there's an epic battle going on between a Corpus capital ship and a Grenier frigate. That'd be so cool. Or imagine, I don't know, dude. I'm just like fantasizing right now about how awesome it would be. Or you're on a planet, and while you're trying to do an invasion mission on the planet, like let's say you're helping the Grenier fight against the Corpus, while you're doing this invasion mission, there's just like Corpus orbital bombardment firing down on the planet, blowing up Grenier stations, but you also have to avoid the bombardments in case they blow you up. That would be so cool and so sick. And like the whole screen shakes when they hit, and it's super intense and super awesome. And I understand that we get kind of get that with invasion missions when you go in and help the Grenier Corpus against one another, but it never feels like actual like huge spaceships are fighting. It never feels like that. It never feels like there's this orbital bombardment. It just feels like there's Corpus soldiers on a Grenier ship, and every once in a while there's like a fire that's like not, that just is like there. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I'm not saying that, you know, there's not starships in Warframe, or if there's not important events that happen with starships. But I'm just saying that they aren't emphasized nearly as much as you would think for a game that takes place in space. It has two space factions fighting with one another. And along with that, you probably a key detail I haven't talked about a lot that you guys are saying right now in the comments, I probably should have said earlier in the video. The Fomorian fleet to me doesn't really count, because when you do fight the Fomorian, First off, it's like, weird because you think the Corpus would help you fight it. You think there would be a Corpus fleet there because they obviously don't want the Grineers to have Fomorians either. But at the same time, it's like its impact felt so minimal. Like, yeah, they blew up the relays, I guess, but it's like, I don't know, you just fought them in like an arc wing, and it was like, you just went up and blew it with the arc wing. Like, I don't know, like, that's not space. That doesn't count as space combat to me. Like, it doesn't count. Well, it doesn't count as Starship combat. Obviously, it's space combat, but it doesn't count as Starship combat. But that's all I have to say right now. And it was kind of a random video, kind of a random little rant going on about a weird topic, I guess. Not a weird topic, but like a topic that, I wouldn't normally discuss or bring up. Just something I wanted to talk about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. No hate to Warframe, by the way. If they don't want space battles, they don't need to have them. It's an amazing game. But stay blessed, guys. Stay happy. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I hope you all stay safe out there. Goodbye.